Hello everyone, welcome to module 12. So this module is going to focus on the impact of social media on mental health. So today's lecture is lecture 1 and today we'll be understanding the effect of social media specifically on our modern life. So this lecture will be focusing on key 3 areas. The first will be understanding how social media is affecting our everyday lives. Then the second will understand how it is affecting our communication and relationships. And third will be understanding how social media has an effect both positively and negatively on academic and personal life. So let us begin. So before we analyze the effect of social media, it is important for us to understand what is social media. So social media can be understood as use of digital platforms that helps us to create content, share them and also interact with each other. So they may come in different forms. So they can be like messaging apps like WhatsApp. They can be photo or video sharing platforms like Instagram, YouTube or even Snapchat. Then they can also be social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, now known as X. So even though these platforms are to interact with each other or share content, nowadays it has become a part of our lives. It has started affecting us both in positive way and also negative way. So let us look at how this is widespread globally. So if we look at the social media use globally, it is seen that more than 5 billion people, that is more than half of the population of the world, is actively using social media. If we look at India itself, it is seen that more than 400 million active users are there. It is also seen that mostly adolescents and young adults are active users, even though the age range is expanding over time. Researchers have shown that the average hours of active use is around 2.5 to 3 hours every day. And this is taking a huge span of hours in the, like the time when we are actually awake. So we can see that how it is affecting our day-to-day lives, how it is affecting our identity. So the social media has, quietly embedded into our lives. So just look at your own life. Many of us, what we do is the moment we wake up in the morning, we have a tendency to look at our phone. We open our phone, we check if there is any notification, if there is any message, if there is any new content in social media. And this continues throughout the day till the time we sleep. So of course social media is having an impact in terms of giving us knowledge and making us exposed to other connections, but we have to understand how this exposure, being awake from the morning till night where we are exposing ourselves to these reels and videos, how it is affecting our mind in a negative way. So this habitual use, so many researchers have coined a term that is automaticity. So this means that in our day-to-day life, social media has become in a way that it is a part of our life and it is not a separate activity anymore. But this constant connection comes with costs. So it affects our attention span, it will disrupt our sleep cycle and also create emotional dependence on online validation. So we'll be exploring this further. So as I said that yes, there are many benefits of social media, but it also comes with many challenges. So many researchers have shown that the moment there is an increase in social media use, it also affects the mental health in a negative way. Like over the years, it is seen that with increased use, there is a rise of mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, body image concerns. So yes, social media affects the mental health and emotional health. It has seen to be increasing rise of mental health issues, but it also affects our physical health. So it is seen that because as I said that people are constantly exposing them to screen time and many are doing it over the night. So the more you are looking at the screen, the more your eyes are getting strained. So when you are looking at the screen while sleeping, the light is switched off, you can see that in the dark the blue light is getting released even in the daytime. So when there is exposure to the blue light and you are getting constantly exposed to that, what happens is that your the melatonin production in your brain, it starts getting affected. As a result, your sleep wake cycle, that is called the circadian rhythm, is disrupted, leading to sleep issues, insomnia. Beyond sleep, excessive sleep time also contributes to eye strain and headaches, which is also often called as the digital eye fatigue. Then there is also neck and back problems due to poor posture and sedentary behavior. Because you are using screen for prolonged time, people are not aware of how long they are sitting with the device. They are not taking breaks in between, or even blinking their eyes very often. So today's youth are someone whom we call as the digital natives. So digital natives, the term was coined to define those people who were born during the rise of the digital technologies. So someone who was born during the time are very much comfortable, being around internet, around mobile phones, that it feels that it is a part of their identity, an extension of it. Because of this, it leads to a phenomenon called the FOMO, or the fear of missing out. So this is when an individual feels that they are getting affected by what others are posting. There is a sense of anxiety or uneasiness by feeling that others are having more rewarding experiences when they are not having. So they start comparing others' online life to their life that is not that exciting, because they do not understand that whatever is online is a curated form or an idealized version of a person. So they start comparing themselves with them, and in a way affecting their self-esteem and their body image. So now let us look at the evolution of human communication. So to understand how social media has affected communication, it is important for us to understand how communication has evolved over the years. So if we go back in the past, we can see that humans mostly communicated face to face. You meet a person, you greet, you talk, and then just go back. Over time, with the advent of telephones, so what happened is that individuals they are able to communicate, and the voice factor is added to this. So they are able to communicate with people who are staying long distance. So fast forward to now, you can see that because of the social media exposure and this instant messaging apps, so people are able to connect immediately, be it you are anywhere with anyone at any time, you are able to connect to individuals. And nowadays it is also seen that most of this communication is happening over texts, like sending short messages, GIFs, then also there is a send of emojis and memes. So because of that, this communication has become very short and the emotional factor is reducing. So imagine that you were talking to someone face to face, and somebody, you just ask them that how are you, and they would say that I am fine. So if you are meeting the person face to face, you would understand that by their tone of voice, by their body language. But when the same is happening in an online medium, when you are messaging and someone is just texting I am fine, you wouldn't know their body language or the tone with which they are saying, or are they actually happy or not. So these are few of the limitations that comes with online messaging apps. But of course there are also video calls that you can connect with someone, but that also comes with a bit of limitation. Now let us look at the characteristics of online communication. So online communication is often asynchronous. That means that you do not have a pressure to respond immediately, and there is a time delay. So someone who may be going through just anxiety to perform socially, or just that stress, they benefit in the way that they do not have to respond to that pressure immediately. But also this comes with a limitation. So because of this delayed messaging, what happens is that there may be a lot of miscommunication between these two people who are communicating. Then even messages, as I said, that because of the emojis and the memes, the communication has become very fragmented. So people may just respond to your message by just giving a thumbs up or a smiley, but that emotional part is lagging. So despite these limitations, digital communication enables constant connectivity, and especially when individuals are very far away. But paradoxically, research has also shown that this constant connection doesn't mean that there is a deeper level of conversation. So in researches, it is seen that many users have reported feeling lonely and emotionally disconnected despite having many online interactions. So the key takeaway here is that while social media improves access to communication, it does not always involve the quality of connection. So let us now understand online relationships and social bonding. So social media offers a lot of opportunities for building relationships that might not be possible otherwise. So for someone who is very socially isolated or are very shy, this digital platform plays a very positive role for them, because they can connect to communities online, which helps them to talk it out. And even if we look at someone going through mental health challenges, so because of some stigma or maybe where they are staying, there may not be access to care. So because of social media, they are able to connect to doctors, psychiatrists and clinical psychologists for access to care and also therapy sessions. So beyond that, social media also enables community building. So there are many support groups online for, like I said, mental health. But apart from that, there are also identity-based experiences for those going through that. So there are also many support groups, as I said, for mental health and even those who are having some kind of vulnerability. Apart from that, there is also hobby-based communities, be it for art, reading, music, gaming. So people can bond over shared interests. The social media and romantic relationships. So social media has deeply impacted romantic relationships in a positive way and also in a negative way. So if we look at the positive way, we can see that those couples who are not living together, suppose they had to shift the cities or are just in a long distance relationships. So having social media connection helps them to stay connected. It can be through video calls, through sharing of videos, photos. So in that way, they do not feel that they are very far away. But this also comes with some limitation. So constant exposure to social media, suppose they are living in long distance. So what happens is there will be some kind of jealousy or some kind of comparison with other couples, because other couples are putting up photos and videos, just traveling together, going for a vacation, but this individual knowing that their partner is staying far away. Then there can also be some bit of suspicion that develops. So constant checking for your partner's photos, who has liked them, or when they were last online. So these are few of the limitations that comes here. So apart from that, also many individuals feel pressured to publicly validate their relationships. So many couples also have a pressure to publicly show that they are in a relationship. So this constant public life that they have to show, where they are trying to show happy, because nobody is showing online that their relationship is not going well. So over time, what happens that they are pressurized to express that emotion that they are not experiencing anymore, showing that you are happy when you are not. So this leads to increased stress and can also lead to mental health conditions like anxiety, depression. So now just imagine two people. So one person who has flawlessly developed a page or an Instagram profile, and another is one who has just completed a viral challenge they saw online. So we are seeing these two behaviors, but we are not knowing what is driving them to perform these behaviors. So it is very important that we talked about few psychological theories that explain why people are doing this, what are driving them to do these acts in social media platforms. So let us look at few of the theories. I have some theories that I'll be explaining to you that will help you to understand this better. So the first is the uses and gratifications theory. So this theory says that people actively pick and use media to satisfy their personal needs, like seeking information, emotional enjoyment, social connection, identity reinforcement, or escaping stress. It focuses on what people do with media, not what people do with them. So this shows that platforms like Instagram stories, they are competing by fulfilling these varied motivations. Then the next is the social learning theory. This was given by Albert Bandura. So this theory says that humans learn by observing and imitation. So he has given 4 key elements here, 4 things that he says is very important when it comes to observing and learning. So the first is observing. So the person is observing a particular behavior. So if you look at social media, they are looking at these idealized versions in different platforms. So they are observing. Then the next is remembering. So they will just remember and keep in mind that okay, this person has done this, and maybe even save the post for further use. Then the third is recreating. So whatever they saw online and remembered, they will over time try to recreate that. They will just try to, maybe they saw a photo, they will try to wear the same clothes or order things online and just try to replay what they had seen. Then the last is motivated. So they are motivated to keep doing that. So these 4 key elements are very important when we are talking about the social learning theory. Then the next theory is social comparison theory. So this theory was given by Festinger. So this theory says that human has an innate tendency to compare their attitudes and opinions with others, and how they do it is in 2 ways. One is called the upward comparison and the second is called the downward comparison. So the upward comparison is when one is trying to compare themselves with someone whom they consider is above them. So this can be idealized version, curated versions that are shown in social media, celebrities. And the next is the downward comparison, where they are comparing themselves with someone whom they consider is below them or is worse off than them. So what the upward comparison does is that it is motivating the person, but over time it may make them feel that they are worse than them, because the idealized version is showing that everything is perfect, and this person will feel that my life is not perfect like others are. So this will affect their sense of self-confidence, their sense of self. Then the downward comparison, what it does is that it may make you feel that your self-confidence is increasing because you are comparing yourself with someone who is worse off than you. But over time what happens is that it may also give you a false sense of superiority. Then the next theory we have is the cultivation theory, which was given by Gerbner. So this theory says that repeated exposure to media like TV or social feed, it will over time affect the person's perception of reality. So they may start seeing the world as more dangerous, for example. So in this digital age, carefully curated or sensational content on social media amplifies these effects, distorting users' view of what is normal. So why these theories matter? Let us look at that. So I explained to you 4 theories. Let us see why it is very important that we discuss this. So the user and gratification theory revealed why people engage with social media. Then the social learning theory told us how behaviors and norms propagate online. Then the social comparison theory showed us about how and what is the emotional cost of curated content. And the last theory, that is the cultivation theory, highlighted the long-term worldview shifts that happen with repeated exposure to social media. Now let us look at the third key aspect of today's lecture, that is the benefits and challenges of social media in academic and personal contexts. So social media is no longer a separate activity from academic life. So many students use platforms like WhatsApp, YouTube, Discord and Instagram for their learning environment. So they'll just study in groups through these modes. So while we are trying to understand its effect on academic life, it is important to see what are the disadvantages and advantages. So let us begin with the positive side of this. So when we are talking about academic benefits of social media, we can look at few important areas. The first is social media allows collaborative learning. So as I said, that students often create WhatsApp or Telegram groups to share notes, clarify doubts and prepare for exams. Platforms like YouTube and Instagram Reels offer easy access to visual and engaging educational content. So for example, if you want to learn a concept, you can quickly go to YouTube and just look at the video and learn that. So it also enables real-time communication with peers and teachers. So this is very helpful, especially for clearing last-minute doubts or coordinating group work. So students also use these platforms like LinkedIn or academic forums for networking with educators, alumni, and industry professionals. And the last academic benefit of social media is that, this short videos or polls or quizzes that are offered in this online platform, they can enhance engagement and motivation to study for them. So while these benefits are real, it also comes with many challenges. So for example, someone who is, constantly using digital platforms for academic purposes, what happens is that they may, get very easily distracted. So distracted by, because they are opening different apps and different browsers at the same time. So while they are supposed to study, they may end up looking at different apps for, just reels or other videos for entertainment. Then there is also a growing concern about misinformation. So while digital platforms or social media apps are providing a lot of educational content, all might not be correct. So if one student is heavily relying on that, they would not know if that is true or not. And over time, because of this excess, it may also lead to plagiarism. So few of the solution to this is that, it's important that you follow credible academic accounts. So, looking for those which are reliable. Maybe you can ask your professors or your colleagues. Then use of different productivity apps to block distraction is very important. You can just download some app and set a timer for the time that you are planning to study. Then you can develop critical thinking skills and just create dedicated study profiles which are separate from personal accounts. Then we come to the personal side of social media for college students. So social media offers many personal benefits. So if you look at it, it can provide social connection, it can give a sense of community and belonging. It can also be an emotional outlet where someone is posting or sharing stories. It just helps them to express their emotion. It also plays a very big role in identity exploration or even entertainment factors. Just to relax, you will be watching some video, reels. And many individuals and platforms nowadays are using these to, just advocate mental health and other issues. So even if we see nowadays the trend goes like many influencers will, or even different therapists will use these social media platforms responsibly to help normalize vulnerability, help normalize mental health issues or spread awareness. That said, we should also be very careful about how we are using this social media. So when I'm talking about mental health conditions, what many students or youth, what they do is they will be looking for their problems online. So they are going through some symptoms, so they will type it out in Google. So Google will just summarize and tell you that you may be going through this mental health condition, or you may be going through this disease, so which in a way increases the anxiety. So when you are confused, you have to be very just carefully use these social media platforms, not when you are in doubt, but just to maybe clarify certain things. And it is important that you also clarify this with someone face to face. Maybe seek professional help or go to a mentor. So as I said about the benefits and some bit of the negatives of that, there are also many other issues. So one is social comparison. So we'll often see that this curated highlighted reels of others' lives, which can make our own experiences feel inadequate. Then a rising concern of cyberbullying and trolling is also very common nowadays. Then there is also tendency towards validation seeking, and also privacy concerns do arise because of that. So how can we enjoy the benefits of social media without falling into these traps? So the first is you have to set clear digital boundaries. You just be aware that okay, these are the times that I will not use these social media apps. So one can be the time that you wake up, not touching your phone. Then the second is maybe while you're having any meals, you'll not touch your phone. Then maybe while you are studying or doing some work. And many people, even when they are doing some study work, they'll be listening to something else over headphones. or even while they are suppose cooking, they would be watching some video. So just making clear boundaries that these activities when I'm doing, I will not be, checking out these social media apps, even if it is in a passive way. Then you can also try to not touch your phone or social media platforms at least 30 minutes before sleeping. So this way you'll be more focused, and also it will help your mental health and also sleep regulation as well. Then the second is where you are making sure that you are following uplifting and educational content, not those which are going to trigger you in a negative way. Then the third is when you are going through, social media platform, you can just ask yourself, check in that what am I doing right now? What is the purpose that this is serving? What am I learning? So few questions when you ask yourself will tell you that whether it is important that you do that activity right now. So to use social media healthily, we must activate certain digital hygiene practices. So first, as I said, setting time limits for certain apps. Then you can also turn off non-essential notifications. Third, you can also curate your feed to reduce exposure to triggering content. And the last is where you are choosing specific windows for social media rather than using it continuously throughout the day. You can just set a time that within this time I'll be using social media. So beyond digital hygiene, we must also promote digital responsibility and reflection. So when we are talking about responsible use, it will include respectful communication, so being critical about what you are sharing and being aware of how your post may impact others. So I have mentioned this a bit earlier, but I will again highlight that. So when we are talking about reflection, so we have to go one step further. So you can ask yourself, why am I posting this content right now? How does this content make me feel? And what emotions do I experience after spending time online? So when we are building this kind of awareness, so users, they just become less reactive and more intentional in these digital behaviors. So when we are looking at how educational institutions can also play a role, so maybe like schools or colleges can provide digital literacy. They can teach students about how they can, properly use social media platforms. What is cyberbullying? What are the negative effects of social media? So I think as a society, these institutions have a very big role in, disseminating this information. Apart from, just providing workshops or lectures on these things, these institutions can also help in building emotional resilience in the students. So they can help them to, just learn about mindful use of digital devices. Then also they can, promote seeking help in case they are going through some kind of distress. Apart from that, the institutions can also educate students about unrealistic nature of these online portrayals and also spread some trigger awareness for them. So to summarize, social media is a powerful force in modern life. It brings with it immense possibilities for learning, expression and connection. But it also comes with a lot of risk to emotional, psychological and physical well-being. So as we are ending our lecture today, I want you to reflect after today's lecture about how is your use of these social media platforms. Do you think there is a problem behavior? And if yes, what you can do about it today? So I hope this lecture was meaningful for you. I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.